There are stories in Scripture that inspire us immediately, stories that lift faith quickly, stories we love to retell. And then there are stories like this one, stories that do not rush to explain themselves, stories that feel uncomfortable to read out loud, stories many people skip, not because they are unimportant, but because they are heavy. This is one of those stories. Today we open Genesis chapter 38, the story of Judah and Tamar. And before we go any further, let this be said gently. The Bible did not include this story by accident. God did not edit it out, and He does not look away from the mess inside it. So let us not rush. Let us not sanitize. Let us sit with the text and allow it to speak. Judah, one of the sons of Jacob, steps away from his brothers. He goes down to stay with a man named Hira, and there Judah takes a wife, a Canaanite woman. She bears him 3 sons. The first is the second Onan, the third Shelah. When Judah's firstborn grows up, Judah takes a wife for him. Her name is Tamar. But Scripture tells us something brief and chilling. Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord put him to death. No explanation, no details, just absence. Tamar is now a widow. In that world, this was not only grief, it was exposure, loss of protection, loss of future. So Judah speaks again. He tells his second son, Onan, to go in to his brother's wife and perform the duty of a brother-in-law. Onan does go in to Tamar, but he refuses to give her a child, knowing the offspring would not be counted as his. He takes what benefits him and withholds what would secure her future. And Scripture says, what he did was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and He put him to death also. Again, no delay, no debate. Tamar is widowed a second time. Judah now tells her, "Remain a widow in your father's house until my son Shelah grows up." But the text quietly reveals what Judah does not say. Judah is afraid his third son will die too. So Tamar waits. Days pass, months pass, years pass. Shelah grows up, but Tamar is never sent for. The promise fades into silence. She is not released, she is not protected, she is simply forgotten. Time passes again. Judah's wife dies. Judah mourns. And after the days of mourning are over, Judah goes up to Timnah to shear his sheep. Tamar hears of it, and she sees clearly now that she has been delayed into invisibility. So Tamar removes her widow's garments. She covers herself with a veil, and she sits at the entrance of Enaim, where Judah will pass. Judah sees her. He does not recognize her. He assumes she is a prostitute. And Judah, the man who delayed justice, now initiates wrongdoing. He says, "Come, let me come in to you." Tamar asks, "What will you give me?" Judah promises a young goat. But Tamar knows promises can be empty. So she asks for a pledge. Judah gives her his seal, his cord, and his staff, items that identify him completely. They lie together, and Tamar conceives. Then she leaves. She removes the veil. She puts her widow's garments back on. Judah later sends the goat, but Tamar cannot be found. And Judah says, "Let her keep the pledge, lest we become a laughingstock." And the matter fades. 3 months later, Judah is told, "Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has been immoral. She is pregnant." Judah speaks quickly now, not with fear, not with hesitation. "Bring her out," he says, "and let her be burned." As Tamar is brought out, she sends a message. Not an accusation, not a speech. She sends the seal, the cord, and the staff. And she says, "By the man to whom these belong, I am pregnant. Please identify whose these are." Judah looks. And for the first time in this story, Judah sees himself. He says, "She is more righteous than I, since I did not give her to my son Shelah." No excuses, no shifting of blame, only truth. And Scripture tells us quietly, he did not know her again. Something ended here. Something else also began. When the time comes for Tamar to give birth, there are twins in her womb. One hand emerges first, a scarlet thread is tied. But the hand withdraws, and the other child comes out first. They name him Perez, meaning breaking through, and his brother is named Zerah. There is no angel, no voice from heaven. God does not speak. But generations later, names are written. Perez becomes an ancestor of David, and through David comes Jesus. This story does not call the mess good. It does not ask us to approve of everything that happened, but it shows us something holy and unsettling. God's redemptive work is not limited to clean situations. God did not wait for perfect people. He did not pause his promise until everything was tidy. He moved through truth finally spoken, through justice demanded, through responsibility awakened late,